Live. And we're live. Hello, guys. Welcome to another one of our live session where we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand because, well, we kind of are the expert of traveling in New Zealand. But why is that, Laura?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZDT.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide. And it's absolutely free for you guys to browse, and it answers basically all your questions on traveling in New Zealand. Whether it's just a quick 2-week camper van road trip, traveling around the whole of the North and South Island, or if it is a working holiday and you're spending a whole year in New Zealand and you're looking for jobs, but also awesome travel experiences. We cover all that and more on NZPocketGuide.com. But we know that, you guys on YouTube, you're not really into reading as much as you are into watching videos. So we do this live Q&A session every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So you guys can come along and ask your questions and we'll answer them for you. But just so you know what times they are around the world, because obviously the New Zealand time is pretty far off from anywhere else. So like I say, it's Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, but in the UK and France, sort of general Europe area, that is around 8 or 9 p.m. on a Saturday evening. In the US, that is on a Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. EST or 11 a.m. PST. And in India, that is bright and early on a Sunday morning at 12:30 a.m. And in Australia, that is also pretty bright and early at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning as well. So throughout the week, you guys can answer or ask your questions on the comments section of any of our YouTube videos, and we compile those questions also to answer throughout this live Q&A session. But obviously, the best place to ask your questions is right now on the live chat, so we can go through that and answer them directly for you. So shall we get started?
All right, let's go through the live chat. I'm going to read everybody's comments, as I do usually. So Raghav Rungta says, from Franz Joseph, while driving to church, I have a day in hand. Where would you suggest I should stay, Hokitika or Arthur's Pass? Also, are roads safe in safe driving? I will be there in my honeymoon in April. Totally safe for you to drive. I mean, there is, as long as you take your time, the roads are actually quite good, especially around this area. There is not that many options on where to stay in Arthur Pass. It's a really nice drive, but I think you should just drive through it and enjoy the scenery and stick with Hokitika. Especially if you're in a honeymoon, Hokitika is a super kind of romantic place. There is some absolutely astonishing sunset happening right on the beach. There is some awesome driftwood driftwood art on the beach, which is really awesome. And another thing that you can be doing in Hokitika is to carve your own greenstone pendant. If you have any other questions, then we have Hadley Butler. They say, hey guys, hey. Today is the day we are traveling from Fiji to New Zealand for the first time. Bula. Yeah. Bula bula. Do you recommend picking up anything at the duty free in the airport, such as alcohol, etc.? Well, a lot of people always think like it's way cheaper at the duty free. I don't really see the difference. Like every time we go to the airport, right? Because obviously we do travel quite a lot. So we always pass through the duty free and I never see like really amazing deals. Yeah. Maybe because we don't smoke, like maybe cigarettes are like really cheaper and I really don't know the prices of cigarettes in New Zealand because we don't smoke. But even for alcohol, like the prices are really not that different. And, picking it up at the airport just kind of involved that you cannot carry it with you all the time and everything. Maybe, if you're really into that one expensive type of whiskey that you may not.
I think it's more about they possibly have slightly better deals on spirits in airports than what you get at the liquor stores, for instance.
But it's not by much.
But it's not by much, yeah. Usually they have deals that are kind of like buy two for $60 or something, which usually you have to pay full price for each one in the liquor store around New Zealand. So if you are into spirits and you want to get a couple for your travels, perhaps it's a good idea. But otherwise, for picking up beer or wine or something,
I don't even think they've said beer.
I don't know. Yeah, it's more like
it's just big spirits. But...
It's more spirits than I think they sell wine and stuff. But honestly, that sort of stuff you can easily pick up in supermarkets. Wine and beer, especially, you can get in supermarkets, and they usually, they have sales on that sort of product. So
and for spirits, you have to go to a liquor store in New Zealand. You can't get them in supermarket.
Yes,
I'm just making it clear.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say if it's wine and beer, pick them up as you're traveling around and get them from supermarkets. If you want a couple of spirits, get them from duty free.
Yeah. So for duty free store, we really don't spend much money in there ever, but just because we don't really see the amazing.
There's
deals.
Not a huge value in.
Yeah, like sometimes okay, maybe you're gonna save like $3 on the bottle of spirits. Right, Laura drinks Baileys, right? So that's usually kind of the thing that we get. But like, you're going to save like maybe $2 on the bottle, but that means you have to carry it all the way, around and until you drink it and everything. I personally prefer spending the extra $2 and get it when I need it. And I think that's a little bit easier for me. But duty free. Yeah, I don't know. We're not big fans of duty free, so I don't think there is a rush and you shouldn't feel like forced to get yourself something.
Yeah.
The one point that duty free will have, like the one plus, basically, that duty free will have, would be maybe they have a bigger selection, because the duty frees are really big and there's really a lot of selections, while the liquor stores in New Zealand tend to be quite small. So again, as I mentioned previously, if you're into that specific brand or type of alcohol that you really want, then maybe go for it if you see it, so like that you exactly have what you want. But if you're not as picky like we are, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Michelle Elizabeth says, what inspired this New Zealand quest of sharing with the world the beauty of New Zealand? Also, when did you decide to move to New Zealand? You guys have a house, or are you guys always traveling? Well, so when I arrived in New Zealand, and I met Laura, we kind of not a good enough guide of New Zealand, like the paper books that we're not going to mention right here, but the paper books and everything, as soon as they're printed, they're out of date. It's quite a nightmare to keep everything up to date and to get the right information, and also to know how to pay, like, $30 or 40 New Zealand dollars or 50 sometimes New Zealand dollars for a book. So we were like, okay, let's try to start a travel guide for New Zealand. So that's what we did. We started a travel guide for New Zealand, and it quickly became a full-time job, and gave us the opportunity to do even more than what we were doing before. And then we had an idea. We thought, okay, people always think that New Zealand is really small and can be done in 1 week. So what about we prove them wrong? So we decided, okay, let's just pack all apartment and office and everything into a camper van, and let's travel around New Zealand for a whole year. And that's what we did New Zealand's biggest gap year, when we challenged ourselves to do 365 days in New Zealand and 365 activities. It's kind of an epic year. I mean, like, if you think about it back, when you look back at it, and sometimes when we look back at it, we're like, man, that was absolutely insane. Like, what the hell were we thinking?
Yeah.
But that was absolutely crazy. So we decided to do that, and I think that was quite cool. And so when did you decide to move to New Zealand? So I worked and traveled in about 16 different countries, and I arrived in New Zealand for about 3 months, and I really liked it. I thought it was kind of convenient. sometimes in life things happen. It's not just happen to stay here. And that's basically it for me. What about you, Laura?
Well, I originally just wanted to come to New Zealand for a working holiday. So I just finished university and was wanting to get a little bit of life experience, really. And I just thought maybe working abroad, doing a sort of work and travel thing might be a fun way to sort of spend a year. And then it just, obviously, I didn't plan on moving to New Zealand originally. It was just more going to be a temporary thing. But obviously, we found there was an amazing opportunities for the sort of work that we do here. And we really wanted to, we just ended up making this travel guide website for you guys. And just really wanted to keep on going with that. So we decided to stay.
So as per the last question, that's part of your question, Michelle. So we don't talk too much about our lives, just because our goal is really to kind of help people travel to New Zealand and answer a question. Like, if you see on our channel, like, out of most YouTube channel with the least kind of personal kind of YouTube channel, we don't say anything about our lives. But yes, we do have a house in New Zealand. We used to live in Auckland, but then we moved somewhere a bit more like, way more remote, just because we like more like the remote and the wilderness. And it's pretty good because where we live is kind of very easy to access kind of a lot of places, because we still do travel a ton in order to make sure that we have all the right information. on the website. So yeah, that's basically it. If you have any other question, Michelle, keep going. Then next we have Otila Angel says, my husband and I are doing both island. We pick up our camper van for our time on the South Island toward the end of March. Do you think the road to Milford Sound will be repaired by then? Oh, okay. So just to give a bit of context to everyone, right? There's been some really heavy rains, which has washed, which have created some big wash out on the road, and also there are some little streams that became some really big stream, and that literally just broke big parts of the road. So this has happened. Early February 2020, maybe late January. Late January. Well, I mean. Okay, it
just happened recently.
Yeah, we are recording this in early February 2020, right? Now, the authority have assessed everything. They also have taken anyone that was out of the area by helicopter. So they went to people that were doing, for example, the Milford track and everything. They went to every hut with a helicopter, grabbed everyone, and everybody was out safely. So that's the good point. Now, will they have the time to repair the road? It really depends on the amount of damage that there is, and the assessment is not finished as time of recording. They are hoping that it will be kind of reopened within a month. So you're asking us for the end of March. So the hope is that yes, but there is always delay in construction. You probably have seen some pictures. There are some massive wash, so like a lot of gravel and dirt that is covering the road. Exactly,
stuff, yeah.
Big landslip. So this is kind of easier to clean because you kind of just clean it and then just resurface the road quite quickly. But there are some areas where literally the road has been completely washed, so you need to re-level and resurface and everything. And the good thing is that happens quite a lot in New Zealand. And the reason why it's a good thing is that they're pretty, used to kind of repairing those kind of things. So I think that early March is a good estimate for will it be repaired or not. But again, I'm not an engineer, so but yeah, that's basically where we're at right now. And yeah, we have our fingers crossed for you, Otila. Hopefully that's going to be the case. But if it's not, and you really want to go to the sounds and everything, consider something called Doubtful Sound. It's really awesome, and we do have a video on this channel. So it's doubt, like you're having a doubt, and full FUL. So Doubtful Sound, it's very similar to Milford Sound, but even more remote, and it's an awesome tool to do.
Yeah.
So consider that one.
And you don't actually have to go down the Milford Sound road for that one. It's actually, it's sort of like in the opposite direction. You take it from a place called Manapuri, which is near Tianau. And yeah, you take a boat across the lake and then do the whole sort of Doubtful Sound tour from there. So there's no real sort of roads involved. Well, there is one road, but you're not driving. So yeah.
So yeah, consider that. Hadley says, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're not fussy. Just don't want to miss a trick, as alcohol was a lot more expensive out of the airport in Fiji. Yeah, but it's Fiji. You make money out of the cocktail you sell to tourists. So yeah, Fiji, the discrepancy between the cost of alcohol at airports versus at the resort in Fiji is incredible compared to what you will find in New Zealand. Because you probably won't really be drinking. You will be able to buy alcohol in supermarket and everything. Well, you don't really do that in Fiji very much. You tend to buy from where you're staying, and so that's very different. Yeah. Fiji's alcohol, Fiji's cocktails, that adds up quite fast.
Yeah.
Because there's never just one cocktail, is there? That damn swim to bar in the pools. That's how I get you. All right. AB Electro says, I'll arrive in Auckland at the beginning of March on a working holiday visa. I'm an electronics technician and would like to work in construction right away. I'm trying to keep the expenses as low as possible. I think you mentioned is to pretty much leave Auckland right away. So my questions are,
it's at the bottom.
Yeah, where are the best places for construction? Christchurch. We have a ton of video about that. Just type on YouTube, type Christchurch NZ Pocket Guide, and you will find all our videos about that. Seeing all the work over New Zealand on Gumtrees and LinkedIn. Would you get your IRD bank account Auckland and leave afterwards, or rather leave straight away? Okay, so first you use Trade Me, not Gumtree in New Zealand. So Trade Me to find a job, or you go on nzpocketguide.com, and then you have a section which is work in NZ, and we have job listings and all our tips. I will leave Auckland straight away, go straight to Christchurch, and you do the paperwork for the bank account and for an IRT number. And only when you have all that set up, then you start looking for a job. If you start contacting recruitment agencies and everything while you don't have all that, they will just write you off, and then it's much harder when people already have told you no once to get back to that. So I know you try to keep your expenses as low as possible, but it will take a couple of weeks before you can get started on looking for a job.
Yeah, and also it's best to sort of base yourself in one place like Christchurch, say for a week or two, because to do the whole process of setting up your IRD and getting a New Zealand bank account, you need to have a proof of address, which you can, you often need to be actually based somewhere. You don't have to, for instance, rent a flat straight away, but you can stay in a hostel long term, for instance, and use their address. But, doing a little bit in Auckland and then leaving Auckland, and you've still used the addresses if you're using the addresses that you've used in Auckland and you've already left, then it's a little bit hard to sort of, organize that whole bank account and IRD process. So yeah, definitely we would recommend actually going straight away to Christchurch and just getting your whole working holiday sort of logistics all sorted out there.
All right. What else do we have? Good. You guys are active. I like it. Okay, so Otila says it will be a super bummer. We will be super bummed to Milford Sound, I guess, to miss Milford Sound in the US. Work like
that would take closer to a year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yes, finger crossed. Sounds like a great alternative option. She also say, she gave us a super chat.
Oh,
that's awesome. That's so shiny and everything. Oh, thank you very much for the donation, Otila. So if you guys don't know, you can click on some symbol on the live chat and give us a super chat to say thank you for all our hard work. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
And she said, I've been obsessed with your video. They've helped so much in your planning process. Cheers to you both and keep it up. Oh, thank you very much. It really means a lot to us to actually know that we are helping you guys planning your trip. So keep on letting us know, what you're doing for your trips and everything. Michelle Elizabeth says, thank you. So grateful, excited to possibly spend a year traveling and possibly live. You guys have inspired me. Thank you. You're very welcome. Look at that. Everybody's so positive today. God, I feel like just it's a positive environment. It's all fun. All right. Where I can only see Otila. It's crazy, those super chat, right? You just shine so much on the screen.
Yeah, that's the only thing you want to look at.
Yeah, you cannot see anything else. So yeah, so now we can only think of you, Otila Angel. Look at that. All right, focusing on something else. Anthony Garmin says, hey, I've been watching loads of your video for a while now. I just wonder, is there much scope for accountant finance job in New Zealand for immigrants? Our family really want to move there one day. P.S. Thank you for the great videos. Oh, you're very welcome. Look at that, everybody's so happy. All right, accounting and finance. I think and I'm not sure, right? We're not job experts, obviously, and usually the only type of job we like to cover are jobs that kind of a traveler, backpacker will do, like picking or waiting and waitressing.
Sort of like working holiday visa type jobs. Yeah.
But my gut feeling is that for accounting and finances, you will have to have an equivalent kind of degrees in New Zealand because tax laws are different in every country and everything. So you may have to do some retraining in order to be able to get an accounting or finance job in New Zealand. But I'm not sure. But that would be kind of my gut feeling, as just thinking like that. But New Zealand is great for travel. So if you want to come and travel, you have a blast.
We can give you loads of advice on that.
But for accounting, finding accounting and finance jobs, we're not really tradies right here.
Tradespeople.
Trades. Well, here you go. We're not really finance people.
Yeah.
AB Electro, do you know which construction safety card pass, like the white card in Australia, do I need? So there is an equivalent in New Zealand, but it's not necessary for all type of jobs. And probably the job that you're going to get as a traveler are going to be more entry level, and you probably won't need that. If you do, then you will be instructed by your, employer to know which one to get, or even by your recruitment agency. They will kind of tell you, this is what you need to get. And usually, quite often, I'm not going to say usually, but quite often the employer actually pays for all of it and just get it sorted for you. It's a very quick one in New Zealand to do. It's 1 or 2 days. Sagdas Ozugun says, is there any special thing to do with my Android phone before coming to New Zealand? with Beston. Thank you. Oh, everybody's so nice and polite. Special thing to do with your Android phone before coming to New Zealand? Not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you're planning on using a New Zealand SIM card when you arrive, then you need to make sure that your phone is unlocked so that it will accept any network. There is a certain bandwidth and stuff that New Zealand uses, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
And it's not with on network. So if you go on nzpocketguide.com and you just type cell phone in the search bar, you will find all the article related to that. You'll be able to do that. But it's not necessarily something to... The one thing I will try to do, though, is to make sure that you know, because I always forget that, you know all your Google account passwords. Because sometimes when you change country, and it's the same with the iPhone, they kind of say, oh, you know, like this is an unusual connection network or anything. Please re-identify yourself. And I never know my passwords. Never.
But I just remembered, we do have an article on nzpocketguide.com, which is literally called Will Your Phone Work in New Zealand? And on there's actually a link to a website where you can, like, you know, type in the details of your phone and it will show you whether it will work in New Zealand or not. So that's for phones that obviously are unlocked to accept New Zealand phone networks. If you're doing international roaming, then you don't need to worry about getting your phone unlocked if you're just going to be using your network from home, and you know how international roaming works, I'm sure. So in that case, you don't need to get your phone unlocked, and that will probably work in New Zealand.
And the last thing, I mean, you know, just thinking of tips to give you if you bring your phone to New Zealand, you know, to try to help, because you guys know we like to be way too thorough. You may want to consider a VPN, which is kind of a virtual private network. So it helps you basically keep all the information private, because when you're going to be traveling around New Zealand, you're probably going to connect to a ton of different Wi-Fi spots, and they're not always as secure as, you know, the thing that you have back home. So it may be a smart thing to do if you do a lot of really super private stuff and everything. But if it's just for, you know, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat and all that, there is no need. And the last thing you can do is to bookmark nzpocketguide.com, so you can actually get all your tips on the go. So bookmark our website. Actually, there's a good app called Pocket. Nothing to do with NZ Pocket Guide, just saying. But there's a great app called Pocket. When you browse stuff on your phone, you click on the little icon on your browser, and it saves the page to browse it offline. So when you're traveling and everything, we use that quite a lot. We very often use that with our own site. You kind of bookmark a few pages about the area you're going to go to. So when you're there, you don't need to try to find connection. It's quite handy.
And it's so much better than trying to screenshot pages on your phone, because you can actually scroll up and down the page, whereas obviously on screenshots, you can't do that.
Otila says she can stay, but thanks again. Bye-bye, Otila. Have a good evening, I'm guessing. I hope it's an evening.
Probably.
All right, let's go back to right up. Okay, Hiroshi. Hey, Hiro, how are you doing, man? Hey, guys, how are you? I'm super excited because my trip is in 3 weeks. That's pretty awesome. Well, I know we have a question from you, mate. It's just right here. It's printed. It's the next one we're going to be doing. We're just answering everybody on the live chat first, and then we'll have Hiroshi has a really cool question, so we'll go through that. In a few minutes, I'm guessing. All right, what is happening? AB Electro says, thank you so much for all your great effort. You're very welcome. Look at that, everybody's showering us with love. I just love it. Sagdas says, how to start to find a working holiday type jobs. Sagdas, we have a full video on how to quickly find a job in New Zealand. We literally spend a good 20 minutes going through everything. So just start with this video there. So it's on the channel. So if you are watching from desktop, is a search bar on the channel, and just type the word jobs and you'll be able to find it. And otherwise, if you're on a mobile phone, just go on the search bar of YouTube and type jobs, NZ Pocket Guide, and then you'll be able to find straight away our video about that. It's super thorough. We go through every steps and you'll be all sorted. Mark Bilgin. We are going to New Zealand in March. Your videos have been really helpful. You're very welcome. Everybody's so happy. One detail I discovered is that you can't take your rental car to the other side with a ferry. Not sure how you did it with your van. What?
You can't take your rental car.
Yes, you can. Every car rental company. What?
Maybe there's an odd car rental company that doesn't allow that, but most car rental companies, like almost all car rental companies in New Zealand, allow you to take your car on the ferry.
Yes. Almost every car.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I wouldn't be able to, and we are doing travel guides for New Zealand. So we deal with most car rental companies in New Zealand, because we review their stuff and we want to make sure they're good for you guys and everything. I cannot give you a name right now of a car rental company that doesn't allow you to take it on the ferry.
Let us know how you found that information out. If it's your car rental company that said that, let us know which car rental company that is, just so we know which one. Avis National has specific terms in their contract preventing you can't.
No.
Are you taking, obviously, okay, so maybe, are you taking your car like back to Auckland or something within a limited amount of time? Maybe they wouldn't let you. But if that's in their specific terms in their contract, that's very weird.
No, I think you should contact them and double check with them.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that, and we know Avis, and no.
Yeah, we've never heard of that.
Yeah. I am very confused. Okay.
That'd be interesting to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, Mark, can you contact them and just or maybe just copy and paste like whatever information you find or the link and everything, and just send it to us on like Facebook and
my one rental became 3.
What?
Wow, maybe they do have something. Maybe that's something new that they've added to their contract, because
Can you send us some details? Like, can you find us on Facebook and just send us some details on private message? Because obviously we don't want you to put all your private information, everything on the live chat, and it's a bit harder to do that. But can you send us like just some stuff on Facebook, and I will look into it a little bit next week. So obviously right now it's Sunday in New Zealand, so we can't contact anyone or do any check on that. But we'll have a little bit of a look on that, and I'll revert back to you on Facebook message. So we just have a chat on that. So it's on Facebook. You find NZ Pocket Guide, and you'll find us quickly. But that is odd. That is really weird.
There are some car rental companies that, because they have a rental depot in Picton, where you take the ferry from Wellington to Picton, and Picton's on the north of the South Island, sometimes they allow you to pick up a different car, but that's mainly so you can save money on the ferry crossing.
Yeah.
So you don't.
And it's still one rental. They just tell you drop off the car and then you get the next one.
So I mean, maybe they've done that for you to get a better deal, perhaps, if it was a bit of a
And some company will charge you a fee to kind of drive from North Island to South Island and leave the car in the South Island, which is called a one-way fee. But that's the only thing we know of. All right, we'll get to the bottom of that with you, Mark, on Facebook or whatever you prefer. You can Instagram or whatever. You can contact us and even email and all those things. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of that, guys. And for you guys, if everybody else is interested in the resolution on that, and your name is not Mark Belgin, we'll tell you next week what we found out. So like that, everybody's aware.
Yeah.
So that may be that. Auckland, Wellington, Picton, and then that may be that, mate. Mark, that may just be the fact that they just save you money on the ferry,
because usually
because it costs a lot of money to take a car on the ferry.
It's a significantly more expensive.
That was hard
to take a car on the ferry than just going on the ferry as a passenger. So is
it more expensive or is
significantly more expensive?
Wow.
Yeah. So in a way, it's kind of like it's a nice thing that you don't have to pay for the ferry crossing as much. So maybe what they have done for you is probably a good thing.
It's probably what they've done to you. Plus, also, I'll be honest with you, Mark, I hated taking the car or the camper van, and every time I have to do it, which we do quite often, having to put it into the ferry. I hate driving on that thing. It's tiny, parking and everything is so stressful. I personally, if I had a choice to be able to do that, which again is very rare, and I don't think it's like mandatory that they stop you and everything. It's just easier, and so I will actually literally choose to actually hop off my car in Wellington, hop on the ferry, and then pick it up in Picton.
Yeah.
But yeah. Aside from that, no, it's not high risk for loss of sinking or fire. We don't lose ferries every week. I don't think New Zealand ever lost a ferry, and no risk of fire on the ferry. No, it's all very safe. If anything, I mean, burning the car on a ferry would be way safer than on New Zealand roads.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that would be that. But still, give us some information and we'll dig into that. All right, let's go back. Anthony Garmin say, awesome, thank you. I've traveled New Zealand for 6 weeks several years ago. It was absolutely amazing. Thanks again for the answer. You're very welcome, Anthony. And hopefully you get back and you come and travel again. Sagda says, I know my passwords. Well, good
that
for
makes
you.
one of us.
Maybe we should give you our password and you remember them for us. Because, yeah, we're not really good with password. All right, Clay Bryant says, morning again, guys. Morning. He's talking to AB Electro and says, if you're on a site safe card, it's a day course, but the employer agency will put you through it if you land a job. But if you get it first, you'll get snapped up very quickly. Yeah, so what he said.
Yeah.
But essentially, don't bother too much about trying to get your white card. That's so it's site safe. Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah.
Your site safe card. Usually, the employer sort that out for you. Sagda say, thank you guys, really. You give your time. We're very welcome. We'd like to do that. All right, so while you guys are coming up with some more questions, we are going to go through Hiroshi's question that he sent during the week. So if you want to send us questions during the week because you cannot catch one of our live chats, one of our live session, it's totally fine. You can just leave it as a comment of any of our videos. And then if you think it's a question that will help quite a lot of people, we just print it and we answer it live. So here you go. And this one will help a lot of people. So Hero on YouTube says, hey guys, of all the experiences you have had, if you had to choose one for each activities, where would you do it? Rafting, bungee jump, skydive, kayaking, parasailing, glacier hike, jet boat, swimming with dolphin, and more. Thank you so much. All right, so what we decided to do is that we're going to go through every single one of the activities and we'll give you like a couple of places that we think is really awesome to do because we just can't give you just one. There is so much, so many different activities right here.
Yeah.
So we'll give you a couple so you guys can kind of come up with which one you think you prefer. And for most of the stuff we're going to be talking about right here, there is a full videos on the channel, showing us basically doing that activity in that location. So you can see it yourself and see which one you think you prefer. So let's start with rafting, Laura. Which one is your favorite rafting in New Zealand?
Well, I think one really awesome place to do that is at the Rangitata River. Rangitata rafts. I knew this was going to happen. One of us is always going to pick the favorite.
It's so good.
So yeah, Rangitata Rafts is a whitewater rafting company in the South Island near the town of Geraldine, and they have a grade 5 rafting trip, and grade 5 is like the highest sort of level of craziness you can do in New Zealand, and their grade 5 river is grade 5 all year round, which is unlike the other rivers in New Zealand where the water levels are changing quite a lot. So yeah, that's a place to basically do one of the most hardcore whitewater rafting in New Zealand.
But still, it is beginners friendly. Because you do have some really good guide, but yeah, it's really epic.
Yeah.
Another great place to do whitewater rafting, especially if you're a little bit more pressed for time, it's Rotorua. In Rotorua, there is the Kaitaki River, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a Kaitaki River, which has one of the highest raft waterfall in the world. So it's really, I think it's 7 meters, and it's pretty tall. And so the rafting session is actually quite short, and you go through amazing, like the river is, bordered by amazing, floods and everything. It looks absolutely stunning. It's kind of like a little canyon. And then you have a really, really, really deep waterfall. Like you go like, whoa! And it's really epic. Like the whole raft, which is made of air, right, goes underwater. So it's really cool. So it's a really cool place to do whitewater rafting. That said, we love whitewater rafting, especially me. So we done whitewater rafting in many, many, many places, and you can find whitewater rafting videos on the channel a lot. And every time we have an opportunity, I think we've done every single commercially whitewater rafting experiences in New Zealand. So we've done every river that you can raft in New Zealand. We've done all of them.
Yep.
So that's to tell you how much we do like it. So yeah, Rotorua is quite cool as well. Okay, next activity, bungee jump. I'm going to get started on this one. And I'm going to talk to you about one that we don't have a video about, but have done. I know the one bungee jump video that we have on the channel. I fainted, and I'm an absolute idiot. If you guys haven't seen this video, it's really funny. Just type bungee jump NZ Pocket Guide, and you're going to see me like pass out and then shake. It's just a ridiculous video, but it makes me laugh so much. But there is one I have done before, and it wasn't filmed, and it's the Taupo bungee jump. So in Topo, you have a bungee jump which actually can dunk you in the river, which is really awesome. So they can put you like almost fully in the river or half in the river. And it's really cool to be like, and then you start jumping, and then they catch you with a hook from the raft and they land you there. And then you have a trek up, which is, you get to catch your breath. It's a canyon. It's a fun trek up. But yeah, it's a really cool bungee jump to do there. But I'm pretty sure Laura is going to talk about the one I fainted at, isn't it?
So in Queenstown, there are 3 different bungee jumps to choose from. There is the highest bungee jump in New Zealand, which is like the obvious one, like go-to for people that, want to go big or go home. But a really interesting sort of bungee jump that we did was the...
You did?
That I did was the ledge bungee. This is located at the top of the gondola in Queenstown. And it's very different because they actually strap the harness to you around your waist rather than around your legs like a normal bungee jump. And by doing that, it allows you to basically jump off the ledge whatever way you want. So you can do like a karate kick off the ledge, you can do a backflip, a front flip, whatever sort of acrobatics you can do. You have the scope to do that.
You can also just fall miserably like a dead corpse.
Yes, which is my choice.
Which is the human thing to do as you're about to plummet to your death. Yeah, so what would you?
So the ledge bungee, I think it was my favorite, but to be honest, it was very scary and it was very different. That's probably my pick in Queenstown.
All right, speaking of jumping from places, what about jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, skydiving?
Yeah.
What's your favorite, Laura?
Okay, my favorite is definitely the Franz Josef skydive, basically because the scenery on the way up is so amazing. You get to see the Franz Josef Glacier, which, a lot of people come to New Zealand to see, but you also go right over the Southern Alps, the mountains that are in the middle of the South Island, and you also get a glimpse of Mount Cook, which is the highest mountain in New Zealand. And basically just the whole scenery is absolutely amazing on the way up, and you can see from the mountains all the way to the ocean, and it's just that's just the start of it. That's just on the plane journey up. But then actually doing the skydive, I think there's a lot of the skydives are getting higher and higher between companies
it's
now.
It's still one of the highest in the world.
It's one of the highest. I'm not sure if it's one of the highest in the world, but it's one of the highest in New Zealand. I think at 19,000 feet. Is the one that they're at now. They changed their height.
I think it's 19,500 actually. I think there's there's a decimal there.
Yeah. Basically all the skydiving companies around New Zealand, they keep changing their heights to compete with each other. So there's now in Auckland, it's 20,000 feet. And then Franz Josef used to be the highest, but then, they're always competing. Yeah. So it's one of the highest skydives. It's just an insane experience, but the scenery is kind of like the scenery is more the thing that changes between the skydives around New Zealand. It all feels the same in terms of the activity itself. It's all a very similar experience, but it's more the scenery that is why you would maybe choose one skydive over the other. So, but also, Franz Josef, I can keep going talking forever. But the Franz Josef, their skydive as well, it's actually quite a small company. So it kind of feels like, some of the skydiving companies sort of feel like it's a little bit too busy and crazy because they're bringing skydives out every 5 minutes. It's kind of like you're in a sort of factory of skydiving. But at Franz Josef, it feels a lot more laid back. You're with, just a small group of people and stuff. And it just kind of feels a little bit less crazy in terms of how busy it is. So in conclusion, Franz Josef is my favorite skydive.
Wow. Okay. So skydiving is awesome almost everywhere, right? It's just the whole experience itself is fantastic. And usually the views are really phenomenal. So if I were to pick another one, which was quite cool, I think I will say the skydive, which is in the Bay of Islands. So skydive Bay of Islands, first when you skydive from up there, you can see the 144 islands, which makes up the Bay of Islands, which is quite phenomenal. It's a fantastic views. But the best thing is that on a good day, and that doesn't necessarily mean like a good sunny day or anything, it just means where the wind is correct, they actually land you on the beach, which I think is really awesome. So you start from the airport, like every skydive company, and then they land you on the beach, which I think is just so cool. So I think it's another really great place to do a skydive in New Zealand. But again, skydiving, you can't really get it wrong. I mean, if you are on a budget, go to Taupo. There are 2 companies there, and they are the cheapest skydive in the country as well. So that's another thing to consider as well. All right, moving on to kayaking. So where are the best places to kayak in New Zealand? I'm going to get started this time, so she doesn't pick the best one at all time. Very annoying. But there are a lot of really good places to kayak in New Zealand. I think one of the most unique and original kayak to do in New Zealand, and you have to go with a tour. You can't just take a kayak and just go enjoy yourself. But it's the one with Waimarino, which is not too far from Tauranga. And you kayak at night, and you're going to go through a canyon which is filled with shiny glowworms. You know, the thing that you see all the time with the glowworm caves in New Zealand and everything. So it's Waimarino, and it's in Tauranga. It's a really fantastic experience. It's not the cheapest, but it's not necessarily super expensive either. And yeah, you start with a little bit of a snack, and then you go through the lake, and then you are arriving in the canyon, and you see those stunning glowworms, and it's really awesome. And you couple that with the beautiful night skies of New Zealand, which are always phenomenal. The light pollution in the whole country is pretty low, and so it makes for an absolutely like out of this world experience. And yeah, it's very different than your kind of usual kayaking like Abel Tasman, which is probably what Laura's going to talk about.
I was going to say that next.
And then that, she's going to tell you all about that right now. But I just thought that it was just so unique. It was kind of worth kind of putting that there as a kayaking experience. Now, Laura, what's your favorite kayaking experience?
Mine would be in Abel Tasman.
Oh, I was surprised.
Abel Tasman's really well known for its kayaking. There are many different companies you can choose from to go and explore the coastline, and that's really what that national park is all about. It's about its golden sand beaches and just beautiful clear waters, and yeah, definitely exploring on a kayak is the thing to do there. So for instance, we did a really awesome kayaking tour with Wilson's Kayaks, and they took us basically one way. You go with a guide and do some kayaking along the coast, and then you can choose to either kayak back with the guide, or you can take a short walk along the Abel Tasman coastal track, which is part of one of the New Zealand Great Walks. And yeah, that's just a way you can mix up that kayaking tour. But there's lots of opportunity. There's loads of different kayaking tours you can do there. Some of them take you to see seal colonies. Some of them are even from the other side of the Abel Tasman National Park in Golden Bay, which is really much less visited. But they can go and take you, for instance, Golden Bay kayaks. They can take you to see bird colonies and stuff on islands in the sort of less visited area of the Abel Tasman National Park. And there was also seals. We saw seals then, actually. We saw a seal come up eating an octopus right in front of us, for instance. So yeah, there's also that option as well. But yeah, kayaking in the Abel Tasman National Park, there's lots of opportunity there.
All right. Moving on to parasail. So this one's going to be a quick one for parasailing. So which one is your favorite parasail in the country, Laura?
I would go for the Bay of Islands. Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Why?
Bay of Islands. That's really good. Good scenery. You're on it's one of the ones, the parasailing where you're actually on the ocean rather than in a lake. And so most of them are in a lake, but this one has you sort of going above, like Robin said, for the skydiving, the 144 islands of the Bay of Islands. The scenery is just really cool. And I think it's the highest parasail in New Zealand. So if you sort of, want to get as high as you can, that's where you go.
Yeah, and you can see us do that. So again, all the activities that we talk about right here, you can find a video of us doing these activities on this channel. The other one I would point out maybe as a parasail would be Taupo, just because it's a little bit cheaper, and also because you are doing parasailing on New Zealand's largest lake and just under the massive volcano that was used to create Mordor in The Lord of the Ring. And if you are a little bit of a nerd, it's a pretty cool scenery. So you get volcano, lakes, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think it's a really cool place. Moving on to glacier hike. Laura, where would you do a glacier hike? What's your favorite?
My favorite is Fox Glacier.
Okay.
Fox Glacier is the glacier next to Franz Josef. Franz Josef is the one that everyone's heard of, but actually the Fox Glacier is definitely, because we've done all of them, the Fox Glacier really stood out in my mind because there was just so many ice caves and in terms of like things to explore and stuff, there seemed to be a lot more variety. And the reason for that is because the glacier goes around a bend in the valley. Apparently that is a way to sort of, make the glacier a little bit more cavey. But all the glacier tours, just bear in mind that the glacier is always moving. So they are all very, they're always changing. And, sometimes there might be more caves on the Franz Josef one than the Fox Glacier one, for instance. So you never really know what you're going to get. But yeah, in my experience, the Fox Glacier was always really cool. And there's only one helicopter company doing glacier tours on the Fox Glacier, which I personally prefer because I just prefer it when there feels like you're the only ones on the glacier.
All right. So for mine, my favorite glacier hike in the country is actually on the Tasman Glacier. So it's in Mount Cook. Just because I really love the Mount Cook area, and any excuses to stay longer there, it's good for me. You're going to go on Tasman Glacier, which is actually New Zealand's longest glacier. It is super big, and you have a massive, you already, when you do any glacier hike, and let me just preface by saying that all the glacier hikes are actually awesome. Franz Josef, Fox Glacier, and Tasman Glacier, they're all really awesome. But I feel like when you land on the glacier, and because we got the luxury to do all three of them, the feeling of grandeur was a little bit different. It was quite phenomenal how big they are. Also, it's the least known one, the Mount Cook Glacier Hike. I think that's the name of the company. It's the least known company. So you always have very small tours. So you get the whole glacier to yourself. It's really awesome. So the unique kind of exclusive experience in such a massive, grand landscape just right under Mount Cook, which is New Zealand's tallest mountain. The whole kind of thing is just big and epic, and you're tiny and your group is tiny, and it just feels so weird.
And you can hear really sort of rock fall, ice falls and stuff that are happening in the mountains around you.
Because it's so quiet. Because on all the other glaciers, you have a bit more helicopter going back and forth. So because it's so quiet on the Tasman Glacier, that you can hear what, as Laura said, just one rock tumbling from somewhere, you're like, and it's kilometers and kilometers away, because as soon as you land on the glacier, you lose all conception of distances, instantly. You have no idea of sizes and distance and everything, because it's such an unearthly kind of places to be in. It's quite phenomenal. All right, moving on. Jet boat, favorite jet boat in the country. I will go for the squeeze. I'm going to go for the squeeze. So it's between Rotorua and Taupo, and you go on a river, and the jet boat tour itself is kind of okay, you just go on the jet boat, and if you've never done it before, you'd be like, wow, it goes really fast. But if you've done jet boat tours before, you'd be like, well, it's a jet boat that goes fast on the river. But and they still do the 360 speed and all those kind of stuff that you always have fun. But let me just tell you why it's so amazing. You go kind of to a bit of a secret spot near the river, where you hop off the boat, and you walk on water yay high. And we had all our cameras, so we had our drive back on the head. It felt like a real adventure. And we start squeezing ourselves through a little bit of canyon, and we go to a really hot stream. And so there's a massive streams of super hot water for all the geothermal activity that is happening in Rotorua. And it's all natural and everything. And it's such a unique place. It's so different. I did not think we will uncover something as unique as that.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get there as well. It's just so awesome. So I think the squeeze is from NZ River Jet. I think is one really cool jet boat tour. What about yours, Laura?
Well, my pick is also in Taupo, actually, and it's the Rapids Jet.
That's cool.
This is a really different jet boat tour, and honestly, in New Zealand, there's over 20 different jet boat tours.
There is a ton.
There's really a lot. So all of them are really amazing and do sort of
something unique. They all have a unique set.
But for Rapids Jet, they do something a bit different, which is literally taking a jet boat on some whitewater rapids, which is pretty insane. They sort of get some height and do the nose of the boat goes points up into the air and then smashes back down onto the water. And while this jet boat tour doesn't really take you too far anywhere, it's more just to play on the rapids. It's just really more. It's probably the most sort of adrenaline fueled jet boat ride that there is. So yeah, that's my pick.
And there's really a lot of other jet boats in New Zealand. You know, there's a Shotover, there's one in Mount Aspiring National Park. What's the name of this one?
That River, or the Waihoro
River Jets. And we've done a ton of those jet boats. So if you just type jet boat and jet pocket guide, you're going to see us doing
we've done loads.
8, 9, 10 on videos, and we've done more personally. But yeah, really cool. All right, and so last one, swimming with dolphins. Where would you do swimming with dolphins, Laura?
I would do swimming with dolphins in Kaikoura.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Kaikoura, is one of the places where there's just so many marine mammals there. You can go see whales, you can see like albatross and things. But yeah, one of the activities there is swimming with dolphins. And the type of dolphins that they have there are dusky dolphins. And they're known for traveling in super pods. So that's like literally pods of hundreds of dolphins. And they're known for their acrobatics as well. So you often see them, like when you're traveling on the boat to go do your dolphin swimming, you can see them sort of leaping out of the water alongside you, which is really cool. And they're quite curious as well. So when you're doing your dolphin swimming experience, you sort of see them swimming around you, you know, making eye contact, you know, you have a deep connection with the dolphin.
Speaking of connection, my favorite pick is actually in Tauranga, because you get to have a connection with the dolphin, because the way they do swimming with dolphins is really different. In Kaikoura, they put the boat closest to where the dolphins are. You jump and then you swim toward the dolphin and then you swim back toward the boat. Now in Tauranga, what they do is that they have a metallic bar in the water on both sides of the boats, and you jump in the water and they keep moving the boat at a kind of a slow pace, and you just hold on to it. And you actually get to swim alongside the dolphins, because when you're in the water and you swim on your own, the dolphin is just turn around you and he's gone. Right? They swim way faster than you. But with the boat, they kind of match your pace and they kind of stay around, they move around you and everything. And that thing is quite amazing. So now they're not dusky dolphin, they're usually bottlenose dolphin. So it's the bigger and grey one.
Common
dolphin. Like they're just a normal dolphin, basically. The common one. But yeah.
The species is called common dolphin.
Yeah, I know. But like, I know what I'm trying to say is to describe it, because dusky is like smaller and elongated with the black stuff and everything. So, you know, it's like what I'm trying to say, that the dolphin that you're swimming with in Tauranga will be the grey one, the one you see in movies. But I think it's a really cool way to do it. I did not expect that when we were going on the tour. We actually had no idea that that's how they were doing it, until they just literally put those things in the water. We're like, what is going on right here?
What do we have to do?
and that was really cool. So I think that was a really cool way to do swimming with dolphin. All right, so that is our take on doing some of the most popular activity in New Zealand and where you should be doing them around the country. I hope that was really helpful to you, Hero, and to everybody else that is watching. Now, if you did find this useful, click like, click subscribe, do all those free things that really help you guys say thank you for all our hard work. It really helps us a lot, and it's free for you, so always do that. That's awesome. And if you have a question on your own, make sure to put them in the comments of any of our videos, and we're always happy to answer them. Now let's go back to the live chat. What has been happening? So Oriol Paz, Hermosilla says, hi guys from Spain, nice to see you again. Hey, that's been a while. How are you doing? Anthony Garmin says, Topo Bungee is awesome. You can get a full dunk in the river too. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I looked at the water as I hit it at the Topo Bungee jumping, and it was a big mistake. I left to go to the hospital right after. Best 2 black eyes I've ever had. Why would you look at the water? The human reflex would be to be scared and look away. What? But yeah,
that's quite funny.
Please, guys, don't hurt yourself. But I wouldn't even have the mind to just be like, okay, I'm about to hit the water with my face, I'm not gonna look at it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
AB Electro said, do you know Fat Freddy's drop? If yes, do you like it? And how big is the fan base? If no, you should consider doing a music guide about New Zealand. So we actually have a bit of a guide of the music scene of New Zealand. I've heard of Fat Freddy's drop. I got a lot of friends that goes to gigs and stuff like that. It's not necessarily my thing. I think the fan base is actually quite big, because it's always a really big event. Like I know Hostel and everything get quite booked when they go to, when that happens. The event happens. So yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I can't really give you that
Yeah.
much. Yeah, we're not really into the New Zealand music scene, let's be honest. But yeah, that exists. Here you go. Hero says, any guided night adventure to see nocturnal animals in the forest to recommend? That wasn't on your list.
Yeah.
You can't ask.
Yeah.
No, no.
Must have forgot that one.
Unacceptable. Yes, so there's some pretty cool tours. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a really cool tour in Whakatane, which is the town where the White Island volcano is, if you need a reference to where that is. And yeah, in that town, there's a bit of a conservation area, and some local sort of conservation guides run a night tour, which is really cool. We do have a video on that. I think to find it, you would just need to search NZ Pocket Guide Whakatane.
So Whakatane is WH.
Maybe write it as
yeah,
a spelling.
I'll find.
So so this is a really cool tour because actually so many things to see in the forest at night that you just would not expect to see. Like, first of all, you're seeing loads of different wetters, which are like giant crickets in New Zealand. They're like native insects, and so you get to see all those. You get to see spiders, and some of the spiders that the spider from the Lord of the Rings was apparently designed off for the movies. You also get to see, possibly see one of the native owls called a ruru or a mawpork.
Words are hard today for Laura.
They are. So yeah, which is a really small owl. They're only about like this big. You can definitely hear them in the forest, but yeah, you might be able to see them. They also take you to a little bit of a stream so you can see eels. But the main sort of focus of that tour is also to look out for kiwi birds, which unfortunately on the tour we went on, we didn't see any kiwi birds. It's usually quite hard to see kiwi birds in the wild, but it happens. Obviously, that's why they do the tours. So you could be lucky enough to see a kiwi bird.
Here you go, Hero. All right, Samantha B says, hi guys, much gratitude for your wonderful work. You're very welcome Samantha. So Samantha said, my question is, can we do stargazing without paying for organized tour near Mount Cook? Thanks for your answer. Yes, look up the stars. We actually talked about that last week. Last week, literally in the same live session, someone else asked that. So yes, you can definitely look up the stars. It's very dark, so you'll be able to see a ton. The good point with the tours, right? The reason why they are tours because they usually come out with a really big telescope, so they can show you like astral object up close and everything. And the guide will also explain to you what you see. But if you feel like you can do that yourself, if you want to get yourself a book or anything like that, you can definitely
just enjoy the pretty stars. Yeah.
If you don't want to be nearby the hotel area, you can drive or walk just a little bit down the road and go nearby the airport. This is the kind of area where the night stargazing tour goes as well. So you go nearby the airport. There's a parking lot at the airport. They say you can just
park up
at the airport, look up, and you're gonna see that the star skies. Ooh, that teach me to mock you.
Yeah,
the starry skies are fantastic, and you'll be able to see a ton. There are some apps that you can get on your phone that says you can point it and it will tell you what you see in the night sky and everything. From my experience, they don't work.
Yeah,
I've tried a couple of them. And from my experience, they don't work at all. So don't think that your phone's going to do all the work of the guide for you. So you will have to get yourself like a map or something if you want to know that. But again, I'm very happy to just look up and have fun. Like we've done both, right? You can't miss the stars anyway when you're there. The night skies are so phenomenal. Like if you just want to see them, you will not miss them.
Yeah.
Obviously, except if there are clouds. But yeah. So, I mean, every night we didn't do a night sky, like a stargazing tour. We still looked at the night sky because it's really, really, really nice looking.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously Mount Cook and Lake Tekapo and everything is a dark sky reserve. So, you see them like even darker skies and everything. But usually even all around the country, like you don't necessarily have to be in Mount Cook to see some phenomenal starry skies. Like I mean, you see them from everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Stewart Island was really good for stargazing.
Oh yeah, Stewart Island was really awesome. Not that many people go there, but man, that was phenomenal.
And even on the West Coast, like I remember, like we went and did like some bonfires on the on one of the beaches in Westport, and just doing that, you can see so many amazing stars. But yeah, it's obviously you need to be lucky in that you get a clear night. Obviously clouds in the sky doesn't really help with stargazing, but obviously, and also sort of the later into the night you wait, the better the stars look. So if you can, you know, stay awake until midnight and then do stargazing, then that's generally when it's better to do that. So
yeah, so if you have a 5 a.m. hike after that.
Yeah, so yeah, stargazing usually is very dependent on the conditions as well.
All right, so I hope that was helpful to you, Samantha. And Hiroshi says, thank you very much, guys. You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
And that brings us to the end of this live session. We spent an hour answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. If you do have any questions and you missed our live session, it's okay. Just put it in the comments of any of our videos and we'll be able to pick them up and answer them for you next week or the week after, depending on, you know, how many questions we get.
Yes.
And otherwise, we are here every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which is probably Saturday where you are in the world. So if you are in the UK, it's 8 p.m. on a Saturday. If you're in France, it's 9 p.m. on a Saturday. If you're in the US, it's 2 p.m. EST and 11 a.m. PST. Now, if you are in India, you are joining us on Sundays at 12:30 a.m. And if you are in Australia, you're joining us on Sunday at 6 a.m. And if you are anywhere else in the world, well, try to figure out what time is 8 a.m. on a Sunday in New Zealand.
But Robin has put a handy link. Or did you take it out?
No, I was about to say it.
Oh.
But yeah, so and to figure that out, you just put it in the comment, in the description of the video, I put a link to like timeanddate.com or something, and they have like a little calculator so you can calculate what time it is with your location, which is quite handy.
Yeah.
So here you go. In the meantime, like, subscribe, be cool. Check out nzpocketguide.com when we have everything in writing, and check out more of our videos of us doing all the activities we mentioned today. And again, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
See you next week.